arrivals, we've got a really important job of making sure all the donkeys that come into our care have lots of love and attention and really settle into their new life at the sanctuary. Obviously at the sanctuary, we really want donkeys to be in individual homes. You can see they love attention, love one-to-one, so ideally we'd like them to stay in homes, but it's not always possible. It might be through family bereavements or loss of land, financial problems, or sadly still rescue and rehoming and neglect cases that are coming in at the moment means that they do have to come into us here. Through their initial week with us, we want to make sure that they settle, they keep eating. If they love attention, we make sure they get plenty of that so that they settle in here. Some of them aren't used to being handled, so we let them settle for a few days first and just get them relaxed in the environment. Our job as well here is to assess them while they're here. We need to find out as much as we can before they come in, and then lots of information whilst they're in, so that we can decide where's best for them to go on from here. And we make sure we input all of that detail onto the animal management system.
So this is Sammy. He's been here about 8 weeks. He will at times kind of bray and charge at people. It seems like it's really defensive, but unless we can identify that trigger, then our challenge is to be able to keep the rest of our staff safe and pass on the right information on how we're going to work with him in the future. What I'm interested in is if we do more work out in the field like this, does it begin to teach him that the behaviour he's showing isn't working? And I'm really conscious here that I'm between him and Sarah, and if it's a defence issue over her, then this is where the behaviour could come from. And you can see just how quickly he changed it there. Behaviour is really important for those new donkeys that are arriving at the donkey sanctuary because it's our key to understanding who they are. The job of new arrivals is to begin to unlock that donkey's potential and their history. Who are they? What do they need? How can we meet those needs? At the same time of keeping our staff safe, it's important that we get to know them and then we share that information from new arrivals to farms and farms back into wherever those donkeys end up.
When we got a new donkey with us, then the nurses will come the first day to have a look at them. If we had any concerns, then I'll be here straight away just to check them. And then if not, then I keep coming sort of routinely to the farm to check any donkey that has arrived. Weight losses will be something that we will be concerned about. Many times it can be related to parasites, and parasites can also cause problems like colitis, like in this case it could have been. We make sure that we have from them a dung sample as well, and then the blood samples just to check all of that. So this is Tobias. He's just being castrated, and we're just going to check the castration site to make sure he's healing well. Unfortunately, many donkeys, they'll come as a stallion with us, and they will need to be castrated because we have a non-breeding policy. One of the things that we're more worried about is that whether the stress of coming in is causing them any problems, and that's sort of checking their triglycerides level and make sure they are not getting into a life-threatening disease, which is called hyperlipemia. If we were to move them into a farm or into a group without testing or checking them first, then we could then bring disease into the herd. That would be a serious welfare concern for us and for our donkeys.
All donkeys coming into our care, into the sanctuary isolation, have their teeth checked as a matter of course. It's important that we know the condition of their mouths when they come in. So the first sort of thing we're looking for really is symmetry, make sure there's no lumps or bumps. Have a smell, does it smell nice? That's the favourite part of the job. Finger in the mouth, can we feel any sharp points? And if Sammy wants to give us a nice big smile, he can show off his gnashers. And to examine Sammy's mouth, we use what's called a houseman's gag. I don't know if you can see, but he has quite sharp hooks here. These little fellows on the end of my thumb. And now for the grim bit. So all we're doing here is taking the sharp points off of Sammy's teeth, little enamel overgrowth. We use a rotary rasp, a diamond rasp. It's very soft tissue friendly. I can rub it on my arm and does no damage. Donkeys do seem to need more care than horses. Due to their stoic nature, they don't exhibit symptoms till much later, and very often we find by the time they're actually looking ill, then it's really difficult to put things right. Regular dental care is very important. We can get on top of the game. And that's it, straightforward.
We spend a lot of time on the donkey's feet when they come in because generally they have a lot of issues. The donkeys on the donkey sanctuary mostly have a lot of concrete to walk on, which is very good because it's easy to clean. Donkeys' feet grow very, very fast, so concrete helps wear their feet. When a donkey with very long feet comes into the donkey sanctuary, first thing we do is I'll work with the vets to take x-rays. So we take an x-ray of every foot so we can look at the x-rays and work out how severe it is, how serious it is, what we need to do. And then we will remove all the overgrowth back to a normal foot in one go, and that's the way we found over the years is the most appropriate for the donkey. So Freddie has very poor conformation and has had bouts of laminitis. We're going to put what we call rims on, which is like a plastic slipper that glues onto their foot. So the equivalent of a steel horseshoe, but because donkeys have such small feet, it's very difficult to attach steel shoes with nails. So we're going to use an epoxy resin to create a shoe, to create a false foot, to give her comfort, to make her comfortable. By having the donkey's feet trimmed regularly and properly, a lot of the issues related to foot disease and possible euthanasia can be avoided.
The minimum stay they'll have here is 6 weeks. Some of them do end up staying here a lot longer, depending on kind of their needs, their health, and anything else that goes with that. So we're really lucky to have a really passionate team of people here looking after the donkeys. We have a lot of highs, a lot of lows, so we really have to pull together as a team and give them lots of love and care. We have a team that work around the clock, so we have an early starting team member right through into the evening. We have people here on shift as well, so the donkeys really are getting care. There is always a waiting list of donkeys that need our help and are wanting to come into the sanctuary. So we really have to prioritise those that are really in need and make sure that we get them into our care as soon as we can.